We kick off the week with the moon in Cancer still waning after last week's energy peak. Cancer puts us deep into our feels. This is the part of the week where your emotions are not just going to be some kind of like background noise. This is where you are integrating your emotions, specifically the word trust. If you feel comforted, if you feel safe, if you feel nurtured, that's going to be a cue that you're integrating a new level of trust with yourself. Now, some of us may still be on the other spectrum, the other side of the pendulum. If you feel drained, uneasy, you might feel like you want to pull away from everybody. That's going to be your cue that you need to bring a sense of trust into your body, into your mind, into your overall sense of life. Your emotions are basically going to be your system, your warning system in the beginning of the week. Now, if you ignore them, you'll find yourself in a situation that you have to kind of untangle. So be prepared for that. I would say the best thing to do is honor everything that is happening. You might also be in situations where trust is still wonky between you and other people. This is the part of your chart where Cancer is at. That's where the moon starts the waning journey. So I just want to kind of give you a heads up on the beginning of the week. We are going to be working on trust. Welcome back to AstroTea, my friends. Today we are going to be diving into a really important podcast because we are going to be talking about the lead up to this new eclipse season that we're going into. Very important eclipse season that is going to give us a lot of new insight into the kind of work that we need to do or the kind of work that just surfaces in our life. So we're going to touch on the eclipse a little bit, but what is happening right before is going to give us the energy field that we're diving into. And that's what we're going to be talking about in today's episode. If you're here for the first time, thank you so much for being here. I absolutely love having you. Thank you for listening. My name is Aylin Sky. I'm your astrologer, your numerologist. I'm a spiritual strategist, and I am best known for cutting right through the noise and bringing the most important messages to you. Now, we talked about how the week is opening up. Let's talk about the middle of the week. That is when the moon continues the waning phase. This is going to be around the 20th to 22nd, midweek, when the moon moves into Leo. So it comes out of Cancer, it moves into Leo. And here's where we shift from feeling into knowing. Because whenever we are in a fixed fire sign like Leo, we're moving from feeling something into I just know this to be true. So that's what you can expect is there's a moment where you start to begin to realize, and so it is. And that's the realization. So it is. You might notice this as a new confidence boost. Again, the part of your chart where Leo rules, that is where you'll start to begin shifting into more confidence. Maybe whatever you are starting to talk with other people or some kind of compliments that you receive, the area of your chart in Leo is where compliments, confidence, the shining aspect of your life is at, might hit a little deeper. You might notice that you're able to receive the compliments. You're able to receive the confidence and the shining aspect in this area. Even though it's a waning moon, it feels exciting. And suddenly there's courage present again because we trust ourselves, right? What you already know to be true about the situation, the relationship, yourself, even if it's outside of you, it's going to start to make sense that, wow, I'm in a new energy field of trust. Something gets restored. So even if the beginning of the week, you're starting a little bit wonky, midweek, you are starting to ground this energy out. The fixed fire sign in Leo is not going to let us down. Now let's go into the most important aspect, which is the new moon in Virgo. First of all, if you're new to astrology, you know nothing about new moons. New moons are literally a new pulse, a pulse of energy. Every time that the moon comes into a conjunction with the sun at a specific degree, and this happens every 29 to 30 days, depending on like where the chart is at for the month. Every time we come into a new season, a new zodiacal season, we are going to have a new moon. And this new moon gives us the pulse of the month, the direction of the month, a new energy field that we're diving into. It's not the entire story. Most of the time, new moons are a bit more quiet, but it gives us a hint of where the energies now are leaning and going towards. Now, when is this new moon happening this week? Well, it's coming in on August 23rd at 1:06 a.m. Central Time. This new moon is going to be at 0 degrees in Virgo. Now, let's break down everything one by one so we can kind of understand what this energy is that's coming in that's going to get backed up by the eclipse. Now, what does Virgo energy really teach us? Couple of things that I want to touch base on this. Virgo is a sign of discernment. If you ever have been around a Virgo, most Virgos are always discerning something, okay? Not everything deserves your time. Not everything deserves your energy. Not everything deserves your trust. So discernment is a huge word in Virgo season. The second thing that is big in the realm of Virgo is the word integrity. Integrity with your body and how you move, the actions that you take, in conjunction to values and also your words. This is a big ordeal to the Virgo energy a lot. So the area of your chart that rules Virgo, this is where you can say that you use a lot of discernment. This is the area where you use a lot of integrity. And Virgo is a sign that is in a constant preparation mode because it comes natural to them. It's also a mutable earth sign. One of the most powerful signs that represents change. If you want some kind of change to happen, go to a Virgo, because a Virgo is going to strategize and prepare you with everything that you need to make that change happen. Why? Because a Virgo is very interested in the integrity of that change, in healing through the action. Now, what I'm saying is not entirely the whole picture. Again, we're just covering a couple of words here that kind of signify the Virgo energy. If you don't want to just talk about it, like talk about the change, talk about the stuff that you are trying to reach as far as your goal, that is the Virgo energy. You are making it happen. You take the steps to make that change happen. Now, I want to go a step further because this is really important. And I want to just say this because, first of all, if you're new to my podcast, welcome. My name, again, is Aylin Sky. I'm a Virgo. I'm a 14-degree Virgo. My moon is in Taurus. So we've got 2 earth signs already. And then I'm a Libra rising. And I've got my Venus in Leo. So a little bit about myself, okay? Now, when I tell you about Virgo season, I obviously am relating to this the most because I'm a Virgo. And one of the things that I have to say that I hear a lot about Virgos is that, oh yeah, Virgos are perfectionists. And I want to correct this statement a little bit because when we come into Virgo season, we're not looking at perfect. It's actually something entirely different because perfect is something that we are trying to achieve, because when you think about perfect, we're trying to achieve something that seems like we want to hold on to this perfect moment almost forever. That's not Virgo. Virgo is interested in the process and the evolution of mastering something over and over and over and over again, and building foundation after foundation after foundation. So I hope that this makes kind of sense, because I would say that the sign that really looks at perfectionism a lot is Libra. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. That's what my observation is. Again, love to hear your thoughts on this, what your experience is. You can leave me comments. You can also reach out to me and send me some fan mail. If you have any thoughts that you would like to share with me about what I just said, I would love to hear your thoughts on all of this. So usually I find that when we come into Virgo season, we are in a process of cooling off from that Leo energy. And majority of people really don't like Virgo season. And here's the reason why. When we're cooling off and we're coming into mutable earth energy, Virgo energy, we are taking a look at something very real. And a lot of us want to stay in the excitement. A lot of us want to just stay kind of in the excitement of Leo season, because the genre change from Leo into Virgo season is pretty sharp. So I just want to prepare everybody, okay? The reason we don't like Virgo season is because Virgo is about real shit. It's about doing the real work. Not just like, oh yeah, I really want to make this change, and we talk about it and it's like concept. That's not Virgo season. Virgo season is like, you want to buy a car. We're going to clean up the bank accounts. We're going to create that money. We're going to go after it and some. That's Virgo. Virgo is motivated. The energy of Virgo is motivation by preparation and mastering something over and over and over again. Now, that's my interpretation, okay? So I hope that gives you a little bit of insight to the part of your chart that's ruled by the Virgo energy. So if you take a look at your chart and you see that your first house is ruled by the Virgo energy, well, this is your evolution in the first house has to do with the fact that you are really good at creating change with how people, perceive you, how you want to be perceived, with your looks, with your strategy, your behavior. That's where Virgo is then ruled in your first house, if you're a Virgo rising, for example, okay? So you want to take a look at where Virgo is at, because this is the area of your chart where you will be spending now the next several months quite a bit of time, and it gets activated with this new moon in Virgo. Now, this was a lot of explanation, but I wanted to take my time. And here's the reason why. I think sometimes in astrology, it can be overwhelming, and I totally get it because there's so much to talk about all the time. And then a little insert here. Sometimes when we talk a lot about things in astrology, it can kind of feel a little bit like a neurosis of something. And it's not always appropriate to dive super deep into everything because it gets overwhelming. But I wanted to dive deeper into this specific energy that's coming up, because the more information that you have, the better you will be able to navigate this energy, because Virgo season usually becomes overwhelming for a lot of people. And when I take a look at the September energies, like all the changes that are happening in September, it's a lot. So I'm trying to prepare you, which is what my job is. Okay. I'm trying to prepare you. So if you've got your journal out, you've got your calendar out, make notes, because all this stuff certainly helps me. I hope that it helps you. Okay. Now that we've got the Virgo energy out of the way, what degree is this new moon happening? Well, it's happening at 0 degrees. What is 0 degrees? The 0 degree is connected to the word trust, which blows my mind, because we're integrating trust in the beginning of the week, and the stars are just so perfect. When I take a look at this 0 degrees, it's like skill building, dedication, a mastery through consistent effort. That is what we're taking a look at. But we're taking a look at all of that at 0 degrees. We're taking a look at us trusting that we are going to be building a new skill, or we have a skill and we want to build with it. We're looking at dedication. We trust our dedication. We trust and know that the future is going in a certain direction. We're trusting that there will be mastery through consistent effort. This particular new moon at 0 degrees in Virgo is interested in one and one thing only, and that is the pulse of this month, and that is incremental progress. Okay, this is a new moon that is reminding you that your expert level at something, your dedication, your goal, call it an effort at the very bare minimum. It isn't an overnight thing. It's a built, one small deliberate step at a time. So you're building towards something not because you want to, but just because you know that this is an area of your life where you are committed to excellence and you have pride in the actions that you're taking. You have pride in the incremental process that you are taking. And that is what the pulse of this new moon is. That is going to carry us well into September, October, the rest of the year, because it is backed up by an eclipse. And we're going to move more into all of that at a later time. Next episode, I will be discussing the eclipse and what it all means for all of the zodiac signs. But if I were to prepare you for what's coming in the next several months, it is, becoming truly good at something. That is what we're taking a look at. The potential, okay? The potential at becoming good at something. Why do I say potential? Because you have to take the steps towards it, right? Astrology gives us a opportunity. We see the energies. We either dive into it and we make it happen because we have free will as well as fate at the same time. Okay. Again, I can explain this in I can actually make a whole podcast on this one, thing I just said. So 2 must exist. You have to be invested in what it is that you're looking at with the astrology and actually make the energies even more work for yourself. Sometimes the energies unfold on their own and we just watch them pass by, right? You have free will. So you have the potential here at becoming truly good at something and having incremental progress towards excellence. The other thing that fascinates me about this new moon, particularly at 0 degrees, is that it is right there with the south node in Virgo. So we've got the north node in Pisces and we've got a south node in Virgo. Let's talk about what it means to have a new moon that is close and in the sign of the south node. So earlier I mentioned that a new moon is a new pulse. It's a new energy field. But every time the south node is involved, this pulse is bringing something old. It's tied and connected to something that is old. This can be something that is patterned into your life. If you believe in past lives, certainly the south node is going to bring deja vu like experiences with past life patterns that are going to become very obvious now. It is also connected to old comfort zones that are playing out in the present. It can be some kind of karmic debt that you have that you didn't realize. You realize that there is some kind of a debt that ties you to not being able to make the change that you want to. So you start to realize that with the south node involved here in Virgo. And generally, this is really just a cycle where we've gotten into a pattern. We've mastered it. We've gotten into a pattern of it. But now this pattern doesn't feel like it has life to it anymore, because somehow you might feel that you are stuck in it. So this particular season that we're going into, it's not about doing more. It's also not about doing less. It is about becoming really sharp around what belongs into your life and what doesn't belong into your life. Physically, emotionally, spiritually, so that there is some kind of a space that can take root to a new growth, or something that you are wanting again to commit to, because you are committed to this excellence, you're committed to this incremental progress. It cannot take root, it cannot start unless you begin to let go. And that is the energy that we're going into. Not all of it is going to be felt on Saturday, you know. For some of you, this new moon is going to be unfolding on Friday. It's not going to start that day. But this is the energy that's coming. Okay? This is the energy that we're unpacking now. Let me give you an example. You bought a new house, but all of your stuff is still in the old house. So you have to move everything from first of all, you have to pack everything up. Then you have to move out. You have to return the old keys. You got to cut ties with the old house so that you can come into a new one. And then sometimes in the process of it, you start to take a look at your furniture and you go, I want new furniture. I want new furniture. I want new things, because that doesn't match my energy anymore. You come into a new space and the energy is so different. So you start an adjustment period. So that could be like an example of what this is going to feel like. Now, here's what I'm predicting. It is gonna trigger some endings. And the reason why I took my time to say that is because the other word that popped up for me here was, it's endings with a heartbreak. You know, if your heart was already broken about a situation or someone, you know, this is going to be a big validation for the heartbreak. Just, you're not going to spend a lot of time here, because Virgo doesn't like to spend a lot of time in heartbreaks. If you know anything about Virgos, you know, we don't like to spend time in heartbreaks. We're like, okay, I got it. What a fool you are to trigger this heartbreak. But I'm moving on now. That is the kind of empowerment that you'll get with this particular new moon in the phase, because there's so much that you'll realize. The moment something ends, the moment you make space for something new, guess what? You start to realize things. You start to actually process the decisions that were made back then, all of that stuff. But you cut ties with the person, with the pattern, with the habits, with certain relationships, with an environment that keeps you stuck and sort of in a place where you're an outdated version of yourself. Now let's go deeper into the energy. We're doing a very deep dive into this new moon in Virgo. At the time of this new moon, we are taking a look at a square between the new moon and Uranus at 1 degree in Gemini. And what does that mean? That is emotional restlessness, mood swings. That is impatience. Anytime we have a new moon that is squaring Uranus, it is impatience. It's impatience because there's like this urgency, a sense of urgency to want to move, because this particular new moon wants change, and it wants to change, and there is nothing else that it wants. It wants to change. I want to change now. I want to go after the things that I'm after. There's a tendency towards this restlessness and this impatience and this excitability that brings sort of also irritability with it, which is very interesting. Because a part of you is like, well, I'm bored. I'm bored over here on the South Node with things. I'm bored with you. I'm bored with the situation. I'm bored with this same old crap. I don't want this. So there's a sense of youthful energy to this as well. That is something that we're taking a look at. Anytime the moon and Uranus are involved with each other, we're taking a look at some kind of like, transition into some kind of youthful energy. So you will see suddenly people that will be unrecognizable. Okay. And you're like, wow, this person is having a glow up. There's a deep, intimate relationship to the word freedom with this particular square. And there is an emotional sort of immaturity that can come with this as well. Okay. You might notice over the next several weeks a emotional immaturity in some people, and it comes out of this wanting to be free. That is the driver. There's nothing else to it. There's no ulterior motives to it other than this person is really interested in being free. Anytime there is a square, we're taking a look at a potential here as well, because squares are phenomenal. Every aspect in astrology is good if we're willing to work with the energy and do something with it. With squares, what we're really taking a look at is we got to work something out. And what we're working out is that you might see the rise here of some kind of like inexperience that is new in your life. And you might also see the rebirth of like the sense of like coming home to yourself when it's different now though too. It's like you're returning home to yourself, but you're so much smarter and hotter and wiser. That's the energy here. We're also taking a look at the rebirth of some kind of community. With 0, it's the beginning of some new space, a group, friend circle, something absolutely new. And we're transcending that deep into our psyche. We're welcoming this kind of an experience deep into our psyche. Safe to say that this will come in an unpredictability type of way. You will not be able to predict this. There's sort of like a spontaneity behind this particular energy, and it's unfolding over the next several weeks. So this is another thing that you can expect. You can also expect, let's say that this Uranus square to this new moon and the South Node is happening in your work. Well, you can expect that there is going to be compromise that will happen out of the blue, because emotionally you feel like, you know what, I don't want to hold on to this shit anymore. Yeah, you know what? I hated you, and now I don't hate you anymore. So now I want to make this work. And all of a sudden you become, more compassionate with the people that are around you. Stuff like that you can expect. Now I want to come back. I want to go another layer deeper into this. I want to come back to that 0 degrees. That is where the new moon is unfolding. Well, 0 is connected to the planet Pluto. Okay. I can explain that. Again, if there's something you guys like really want to know, just send me a message on TikTok or Instagram, or again, it says send us a text. It's in the show notes. You can send it over there. If there's something you want me to explain a little bit deeper, I absolutely can. So 0 degrees is connected to Pluto. Well, where is Pluto right now? Pluto is retrograding in the sign of Aquarius at 1 degree. Let's break it down. What's the theme? What will be echoed to you from the past here? What will be echoed is wherever Pluto is at, you are taking a look at situations that are tied to conflict. That's a theme of this particular 1 degree in Aquarius. It's also a theme where egos are involved, like a kind of ambition where winning at a cost is involved. Power plays and hollow victories are connected to this particular Pluto moment right here. And it's sort of like, I think, here's my prediction. I think that what we come to realize is that where Pluto is at in our chart, we are going to make a realization with this particular South Node play and the 0 degrees in Virgo. We're going to make a realization that the situations that we have gone through at the time, they were bad, they were dramatic, but now it's no longer going to be inherently bad, because a part of you will feel that you are now in a place where you can deal with conflict. You can maybe deal with backstabbing situations, manipulative exchanges, people that are wanting to go into petty arguments. You might just walk away entirely. So you might quite literally take what belongs to you, your mindset, your pride, whatever it is, and you just walk in the other direction, because you know that needing to be right strips you away from being happy. And there is sort of a new found realization that comes with this, which I thought was very, very interesting. So you're kind of ready to repair from past experiences that left you in toxic battles with people, that left you maybe bitter, that left you in the place of like, okay, I see that you really wanted to win, and boy, did you win for 5 seconds. But if we take a look at the situation now, you're not so much winning anymore. It's really interesting. I mean, this chart is fascinating, you guys. It really is fascinating. It just keeps blowing my mind. The more that I am talking about it, the more I'm like, wow. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you as well. And let's go another layer deeper into this chart. At the time, as the new moon is unfolding, Pluto at 1 degree in Aquarius, it's forming a sextile to Saturn. Saturn is now at 0 degrees in Aries. And wow, Saturn is backtracking. Saturn is going to get out of Aries at some point. We're going to talk about it. But what does this mean, this sextile, this moment that we're taking a look at? Well, it's about stepping into something. It's about standing on business. It's about planning. And of course, at 0 degrees, we are now getting this another sign, another wave from the stars saying, you know what? It's really time that you trust yourself. So situations can unfold where we have to be responsible for trusting ourselves, because, believing in yourself is a full-time job. That is what Pluto is communicating with Saturn right now. You have this inspiration, you have this like new idea, you want to turn it into something real. Well, in order for you to turn it into something real, you have to trust yourself, because if you don't trust yourself, can you really look ahead towards the vision? Can you really see the bigger picture? And making choices right now that could really shape your long-term future require for you to trust your ambition, and they require for you to explore a new territory. But if you're over here still weighing out options, well, Pluto says to Saturn, stop weighing out your options so much. You're going to have to trust the path. You're going to have to really go for it. That is the communication at the time of this. So a new expansion of what you're trusting is born with this new moon as well. And like I mentioned before, I said new moons are usually quiet. This is definitely a time of introspection. And at the time when Saturn is now at 0 degrees, it is going to form a trine to Venus. Venus is still in Cancer, finishing up its transit there. At the time of the new moon, it's at 27 Cancer. Let me just double check. I want to make sure it's a 27. Yep, it's a 27 Cancer. And what I thought was really interesting about this particular trine that Saturn and Venus are forming here, it's about us taking a look at the meaning of our relationships, because relationships right now are in a place where something new is being born. So two sides, always two sides, okay? Something new is born within relationships, as well as both can be true that some relationships we might be feeling meh, don't know about this relationship, nah. So there's maybe some emotional stagnation in some relationships, and then in other relationships it's like, wow, this is a new emotional experience and I'm so satisfied with this. Anytime we have a trine between Saturn and Venus, we're taking a look at the commitment of a relationship, the maturing of a relationship, the working, sort of the collaboration of two people, the integrating something beautiful and integrating something that has integrity, that has accountability. Those are the two things that we're integrating. So it has the potential here for us to not feel lonely or feel like loneliness is really pushing its way out of our life. So what a beautiful, beautiful energy. Now I want to take this another layer deeper by explaining that this is not just any Saturn Venus trine. What I think the ultimate bottom line in relationships are going to really be in is that change is here now. All of this made me think about a quote by Lao Tzu. And it says that when I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. Let me say this again, because it's a wonderful one. When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. Sometimes in relationships, letting go isn't about ending things. It can mean releasing the resentment, the silent grudges, the old stories, the things that hold energy to them because of the experiences that we experience with that person that ties it kind of together. The version of you and another person that only existed in the first chapter. And sometimes, letting go of the whole relationship so that you can both grow. Friendships, business partnerships, partners, whatever, any kind of relationship. This can be the relationship to some family members. The beauty of releasing is not about panicking anymore. It's something that prepares you. It's something where you're able to really look at the situation in the relationship and you can feel the shift and you can embrace it. You don't have to fight it. So as far as relationships go, with this new moon in Virgo, and at the time where Saturn and Venus are going to be in this communication, I would say that this trine is really a great opportunity to get curious about the situation and people. And really ask yourself this: what am I ready to release so that love can grow deeper here? Trust can grow deeper here. So that you can make space for trust. That's the thing about this particular trine. That's what I'm seeing. That's my prediction. The last thing I want to cover is Mercury, the ruler of this particular new moon. It's going to be at 12 degrees in Leo. There's no aspects to it. But the thing that I think is really worth mentioning here is that we're learning something very important. And that is that we are in some particular area of our life, I want you to think really about this. Where are you winning? Where are you getting credit now? Maybe a promotion, maybe a social media love, maybe there's more humor, maybe there is more confidence. And you might actually come into a place over the next several weeks where you feel like you really earned this. You really earned this. You earned to be seen in this kind of a way. Your recognition isn't delayed anymore. And that's what I think that this particular Mercury transit is going to bring us. Now, in some situations, you might see that you're not winning alone. There's other people with you. There's a community now. There is relationships, a person that is helping you to win. It's a moment of success. It's a moment of honor. It's a moment of triumph. It's like the best way I can describe this particular Mercury transit that I'm taking a look at right now is like the hero returning after a battle. Okay? And we're going to feel good about it. I think our mindset is going to be in a good space over the next several weeks. Of course, it becomes more chaotic as soon as we get into eclipse season, but we will deal with it when it comes. I truly hope that you enjoyed today's many layers of breaking down this new moon in Virgo. I hope that there were some really golden insights for you here. I know they were definitely for me when I was taking a look at this particular chart. I am so grateful. That's where I'm at right now. My personal story is that I'm just really grateful. I've been through a lot personally. Oh my. I mean, I could write a couple books, honestly. I've been through a lot in the last, I would say, decade plus, but even before then. But the last decade in particular was really tough. And I'm just in a place where I have really embraced this Leo season, and I hope that you have too. I hope that you are focusing on the good. I hope that you're focusing on the good things in your life that are present right now and not just falling into the negative, because we can always spend some time there. That's not a problem. I would say that right now is a really good week, this week, to let yourself know that you have come a long way and that you are in a place where you might deserve this moment of reflection and preparation for what's to come. I think it's a really, really good week to be in that kind of a space, in a space of gratitude. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here. As always, you can connect with me on Instagram at the AstroTea Pod, or you can find me on TikTok at Aylin Nova. I'm so excited to be here with you next week, where I will be discussing the eclipse season and what this means for your zodiac sign. And until then, I'm wishing everyone the best week. Thank you.